Welcome, everybody. As we have this slight technical difficulty we're overcoming, please allow this to be a buildup of anticipation. Okay? Expect greatness, excellence. Set a very high standard for today. We're talking about from her, of course, first. I told them if I run into this challenge, I might have to just go straight into interpretive dance for the presentation.
Let's go with the silence.
No, well, I didn't say I'd sing.
Dance away.
All right, while that's rebooting, let me just do a brief introduction, and then we'll get through the initial stage and set the tone for today, and we'll all cross our fingers because the presentation that I've prepared is really quite impressive. And so I'm impressive, but when you combine the two, I'm unstoppable. So let me get some things out of the way, since many of you don't know me and probably are meeting me for the first time. I'm Jonathan Dawson. I love the car business. I love salespeople. I love helping dealers and salespeople achieve their goals. I have a simple mission in my life. It's to save the world one salesperson at a time. So it's a simple mission, right? So I'm on that mission. And my objective today is to share with you a personal passion of mine, which is how we can leverage the relationships that we have through our customer base and maximize what I call the highest valued customer that you could sell, and how to get as many of them in the door as possible, and then what to do with them. Okay, so the presentation today is entitled The 3 Questions You Have to Be Able to Answer. And essentially what I want to do is explore this idea of the real market value of our customers. I want to talk to you about some ideas that I know as soon as I describe them are going to be intuitive. What I mean by intuitive is I won't have to convince you that anything I'm sharing with you today is true. The moment you hear it, you'll say, that makes total sense to me. So the great part is I won't have to sell you on why you should believe what I'm telling you. But I'm going to try to talk from a point of philosophy today. So I'm not here to talk to you about too much into technologies and vendor use and all these different tools and resources that you all have access to. And we've seen the exhibit hall, and there's literally thousands of versions of tools and resources out there at our disposal. What I want to talk to you more about is a mindset. It's a philosophy of how we view our customers and the opportunities that we get. And so as I go through this presentation, I'm going to ask you to take a few key notes on some things that I think will be valuable for you to bring back for conversations with your dealership staff, with your general manager, and ultimately to help you decide how to start marketing differently with our customers. So let's go ahead and get into some of the content, and we'll just go, right? I love it. So starting with the idea of the real market value, here's the basic premise. The basic premise is this: not all customers are created equal, and we understand this. In fact, if I were to ask you a general question, if I said there are 6 primary sources of lead opportunities that we get as a dealership, here are the 6. I invite you to write them down. The 6 sources that we have as far as ability to sell or convert are based on these categories. Category number 1 would be a customer who is a walk into your dealership. They're responding to your location or to your general market advertising. They know who you are, they've heard something about you, or they're driving by and they're saying, oh, let's check out and see what they have. So you have a walk-in. The second category that you have opportunities with is an appointment. This is somebody who's responding to a specific call to action, a specific ad or car. They're responding and they call in advance and set an appointment to come to your dealership. The third category that you have opportunity to work with is a customer who might be a repeat to your business. They've already done business with you in the past, and now they're coming in again to do business once again, a repeat. The next category that you might have is a referral. A referral customer is somebody, obviously, who was sent by somebody that they trust. Your next category is a service conversion. Somebody who's doing business with you on the service side and chooses to look at upgrading and taking action on a new vehicle. Your service. And then your 6th category is called a self-generated prospect. This is something where the salesperson themselves generate a prospect, maybe handing out business cards or doing some self-promotion marketing in their community. So they're generating a lead through their prospecting efforts. So now of those 6 categories, you've written them down hopefully. My question to you is, if you had to rank them by value, how would you do it? How would you do it? And what I want to share with you is there are several metrics that you can use to determine the real market value of a customer. Initially, most of us do it by profit. We look at that as obviously a key determining factor. How valuable is a sale? Well, it depends. How much money do we make? We made enough money, it was a good deal. But that's not the only metric we can use to determine the value of a customer. There are other metrics we should be looking at, not only the initial profit transaction value, but we could also look at things like the cost of acquisition to begin with. What did it cost me to acquire that lead or conversation to begin with? But not only the cost of acquisition, but we could look at other variables like the ease of acquisition. How easy is it for me to get that customer to want to talk to me? So we can look at things like the ease of the acquisition of that lead. How easy was it for us to acquire that conversation? All right, I think I can take it from here.
All right, I didn't mean to get into that.
What's your
No.
name?
My name is Claudine.
Can we get Claudine a round of applause, everybody? Come on, girl. That's it. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
God bless you and give you favor the rest of your life. All right. Claudine! Claudine! You are my magic. What happened? Grab her fast. What? We danced, we celebrated, we did a little shook and jive, and look what happened. That's what happens when you celebrate a little too early, right before the goal line, right? Dropping the ball. Oh, I hate it when that happens. Okay, so you have things like cost of acquisition, right? You have things like ease of acquisition. You have things like ease of sale. One of the variables we don't really talk about in the car business, how easy is it to sell one kind of customer versus another kind of customer? But there is a real value to how easy it is to sell somebody. Right? You have other variables. Another metric would be something like the upsell potentiality of a particular category. Certain categories of customers allow for us to upsell easier than another category would. So we don't just have the profit of the initial transaction, we have the upsell profitability because of the type of relationship or category that customer's in. So you have things like that. Also, for those of you who have insurance agencies already in your store or other reoccurring income opportunities, there's that variable that we have to count as well. Emotional metric. There are certain salespeople that emotionally hate selling certain kinds of customers. They don't want to even talk to them. So now we add that metric. So what happens now is we're starting to look at a more holistic approach to determining the value of a customer. It's not simply asking the question, how much money did I make on that one transaction? It's asking the question, well, what did it cost me to acquire it? How easy was it for me to acquire it? Another metric to consider is the maintenance of that relationship. Some relationships, when you look at the categories, some of them cost less to maintain that relationship than others. Another metric would be something like the referability of that category of customer. Some customers have a higher referability metric, which means they're more likely to help you grow your business and send you more business. All of a sudden, what we start to explore is when we look at a real market value, we're no longer asking the question, how much money did I make on that deal? And when I'm working with any store, I don't want to celebrate and high five just because we had a 4-pound deal. What I want to know is, okay, that's great, but how did we accomplish that? What was our cost of acquisition on that? How easy was that? What are the likelihood of we're getting referrals from that customer? You know, what else are we opening ourselves up to for recurring income? How easy is it and likely is it that they'll become a service customer? All of these variables now start to change the way I look at whether or not it was a good deal and whether or not that was a great sale. When we're looking at our real market value and determining it, we have to ask the question, what determines the real market value? And I believe there are several metrics, some of which I just described, that are going to help you decide that going forward. Now, of the 6 categories, here's where I want to make this a little bit interactive, all right? So I want you to do me a favor here.
We won't dance this time.
No one's dancing. I'm afraid to even touch it. What are you talking about? Okay, you do me a favor and hide back here for 5 minutes. No, I'm kidding. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
We're all familiar with this quote, half the money I spend, I just don't know which half is wasted. Here is another hero of mine, and he said the crazy ones, or the ones who are crazy enough to think that they can change the world are the ones who actually do. I started with my mission statement. I want to save the world one salesperson at a time. What I'm about to talk to you about today is crazy. It's a total paradigm shift, as you'll see as we go through it. The 3 questions we said is, what is the real market value of our customer? Who are my best and most valuable customers, and how do I attract a massive number of these people? But these are some of the metrics we were talking about. Again, some of these metrics are determining the real market value, not just simply whether or not we made money. Things like our cost of acquisition, referral potentiality, the cost of maintaining the relationship, the frequency of that sale transaction, how easy was it to acquire it, what was the upsell potentiality, ease of conversion, reoccurring income, speed of sale, and initial profit. All of these variables are going to help us going forward decide where should our time, energy, resources, and financial resources, where should they be directed? So I gave you guys these 6 categories. Now when I gave them to you, I'm going to now ask you a question. All of these customers, do they have the same RMV? When you think about it, do they all have the same real market value potentiality? I would say, I actually did a lot of research on this, and I looked around, I was like, who can give me the answer to this question? And I found this brilliant man. He says, no, I'm afraid. The answer is no. These 6 categories are not all the same. They're not all created equal. So let's take a look at it. And here's where I want to survey you, the audience. Do me a favor. Here's how you can be interactive with me. We have 2 categories up here. The service customer buying a car from you, the repeat customer buying a car from you. Here's what I'd like you to do, please. I want you to play along, all right? I think I've embarrassed myself enough up here. You guys can play along for a little bit. Both hands up in the air for me. Both hands up in the air. Everybody play along, play along. Right hand over here, right hand, my right, your left, sorry. This one represents service, this one represents repeat. So, service, repeat. I want you to do this for me. If you believe that the repeat customer is the more valuable customer, put repeat hand down. Repeat down if you think it's more valuable. So most of you in the room felt that the service customer is more valuable. Is that right? All right, hands down, hands down. Service customer, why is a service sale more valuable than a repeat sale? Somebody answer that. Because they're already, what else? What's that? Sorry, in the back?
They see us more often. A lot of times.
They may see us more often, yes?
Service is 70% of profit.
Absolutely, yeah. These are all variables. But here's my ultimate answer is very simply this. They're a proximity sale. You see, if somebody is a service customer and they elect to also buy from us, they're now not going to stop doing service with us because they bought from us. But because somebody came in and bought from us, even if they're a repeat, does not mean that they will do service with us. They might drive 45 minutes to buy from us because they like us, but they'll do their service at another location or some independent. But if I can convert a service customer to a sale customer, that's a premium transaction. It's one of my highest value possible sales. Same thing here, service repeat. What about a referral or a prospected? A referral customer is coming in because so-and-so told them to come in and see your salesperson. A prospected is someone the salesman went out and handed out a business card or did a flyer and generated the lead, right? Generated the lead. So now my question again, same thing. Which group is more valuable? The one the salesman went out and generated and created the opportunity, the customer came in, or the one where the customer referred them in? You say the referral. Does anybody think the self-prospected is more valuable? Anybody? Good.
Just because you already have a relationship with them, referral, you might not.
So depending on how it was prospected, so Rick's saying depending on how it was prospected, you might have a relationship with that prospect.
Well, you do, because they've mentioned it.
Well, potentially, again, but if they're responding to, let's say, for example, a flyer put out somewhere or business card handed in the gas station, a salesman says, hey, you know, if you ever want to upgrade that car, you know, I'd be happy to help you. The guy says, yeah, I'd be happy to do that. Yeah, here's a card, come see me. If that customer comes in, that's valuable, isn't it? For that customer to come in, that's valuable. Is it more valuable than if your best friend sends you in? No. A referral is more valuable. So again, each of these categories are telling us a story. The walk-in who happens to just drive in, shows up because you happen to have a brand they're interested in, or they drove by and said, oh, look, there's one, and they pull in, or they know that you're the marketplace provider of that brand. That versus an advertising-based appointment. A customer who's responding because of a campaign, because they saw a car online, they set an appointment, and they come in on appointment. Which one's more valuable? Let's try this again with the hands up, all right? Hands up, come on. Hands up, everybody do it. Hands up. Okay? Follow me here. Ready? Most of you are saying no, we've got a walk-in over here, a couple walk-ins, and we've got some people who say appointments. Who says walk-in is more valuable? Talk to me. Why?
He didn't spend anything for it, as we know right at the moment. Number 2, he's local because he walked in, he's not 100 miles away.
Right?
Good shot for service business.
Good case to be made. What about those of you who say, I'd rather have an appointment than somebody just pull up and want to buy a car? Talk to me. Why?
Time of sale. Yep.
Time of sale.
It's going to be through the process faster.
Yeah, absolutely. So he's saying on the appointment side, the customer's coming in typically on a specific car, so the metric of value, the speed of sale is going to be easier. It's faster to sell an appointment, correct?
Well, no, you also look at selling 50% of your appointments, hence versus the 15 to 25% first time walk-in.
Your close ratio on the appointment is also supposed to be higher, correct? But generally speaking, which one has a higher initial profit? probability? Which one can you probably make more money on? The walk-in. The walk-in who comes in who's more flexible, is not on a specific car, they're not coming in because they saw, because by the way, the average person coming in off an ad car, how much margin is typically in that ad car? So when you look at your metrics, you might say, wait a second, my initial profit is basically nothing to sell an appointment. So here's my point. When it comes to these bottom two, a case can be made both ways, and I'm fine with that. But would we all agree that of these 6 categories, they're not all created equal? So when we look at these here, we look at a service customer, a repeat, a referral, a prospected, advertising-based appointment, or a walk-in. They're not all created equal. But my question to you is this: where does our time, energy, and financial resources, where does it typically go? Which 2 groups gets most of our time, energy, and financial resources? Where does it go?
5 and 6.
5 and 6. Would you guys agree that 80% of our management meetings, time, energy, financial resources is dedicated to the bottom 2 least valuable, worst possible customers? And that's where we give 80% of our attention. 80%. And where I'm saying is I want to talk about a paradigm shift with you, is I'm saying I don't believe that should be this way. But I think human nature is to take the things which we're closest to and treat them for granted. Whether it's our spouse, our kids, our employees, our customers, we tend to take things that are in proximity for granted. And we're always looking for that next other thing. This is a human nature trait. And we have to fight against our own human nature in this case. Because we all understand that if I had a bus of 20 of each of these categories could be scheduled to show up tomorrow. 20 people who are in your service department but now want to upgrade. 20 people who were repeat and now want to get a new one. 20 people who were referrals. 20 people who were prospected. 20 advertising or 20 walk-ins. I could ship a bus of them to your store. If I asked you, which bus do you want me to send? It's not a hard answer. But which ones are we paying to send? We're paying for the bus and the bus driver to send us the bottom 2. And I'm saying I don't want that to be the case anymore because I love salespeople and I love this business and I don't think it has to be as hard as we've made it. And we can change this by changing what we prioritize and what we focus on. So how do we attract a massive number of these most valuable customers? How are we going to do this attraction game that we're looking for? I want more of them to come in. What am I going to do about it? Well, consider doing the following when you get back to your store. Start a communication with the rest of your team about this very same idea of the 6 valuable types of customers. And start talking about the idea of which ones should we value? Where should our time and energy and resources go? Look at our budget allocation. Whatever your spend is, ask a question. What percentage of my spend is going to each of these categories right now on a consistent monthly or annual budget? Where am I putting my money? Pay plans. Here's an idea. I was talking to a member of the management team. In fact, he's here today. Consider this idea for just a moment. I'm not asking you to go back and change a pay plan. Please don't go do that. Everybody will blame me. All right? I don't want to be enemy number 1 at your store. But here's what I do want you to think about. Imagine for a moment that you were a brand new salesman at my dealership, and I said to you this. I said, I want to let you know something about our pay plan. Jeremy, our pay plan's pretty straightforward. If you sell a customer that you've sold in the past, that's a repeat customer, I'm going to pay you a flat $500 to do that. But if you sell a customer I brought in through my advertising, I'm going to pay you a flat $200 to do that. Now, if I just said that, would I have to now convince Jeremy he should follow up with his customer base? Do I have to convince him of that anymore? Do I have to ask him if he's doing his mailers? When was the last time you checked in with your database? Do I have to ask him? What if I said this? Again, these are just numbers. I'm not trying to create a pay plan discussion, but I'm just think from this value perspective. What if I said, you know, Ryan, here's our pay plan at the dealership. It's very simple. If you get a customer to refer somebody in, a referral, I'll pay you $400 when you sell that referral, flat guaranteed. But if they come in off of my appointment setters, I'll pay you $100. Do I now have to convince Ryan that he should become a referral generating machine? Is that something do I have to remind him of that? No. You see, a pay plan's only function, the only real purpose of a pay plan is to incentivize desired behavior. But at your store, I'm guessing, and maybe I'm wrong, but at your store right now, is there a distinction in how you compensate based on whether or not they're a service, a repeat, a referral, or self-prospected? Is there a difference in your pay plan? Yes or no? Yes or no? No. Does anybody in the store pay a difference based on the value of the customer? Anybody doing that right now? Not a single one. Oh, sorry, you are. Can you share very quickly, what does that mean?
Have a different one for customers that are brought in through the internet.
So if they were a BDC or an internet lead generation, you pay a different? Okay.
We have an incentive program as well for anyone that you get on consignment, you get a cash value for that, and once you hit 10, certain number, 1,500, it kind of goes up. But
Excellent.
that's about it.
That's about it. But what about this? When I sell a service customer, again, going back to our 6 values, when I sell a service customer, am I operating at the highest profitability opportunity, yes or no? But I'm not teaching my salespeople that service matters from a profitability. They don't think that way. They don't think that way. When I sell a repeat, I'm operating on one of my highest profitability opportunities, but my salespeople don't think that way. Why don't they think that way? Because we're not asking them to think that way. So how do I attract a massive number of these most valuable? Let's talk through this process. Let's look at the top 4 categories where we all want to see an improvement. The top 4 categories of our opportunities. I'm not here to pitch or promote a particular equity mining tool. There's like 70,000 of them out there on the display. Go get one. But an equity mining tool is a fantastic resource for helping you capitalize on your service conversion opportunities. Consider providing payment upgrade options as part of the service visit. Assign and train key personnel to convert from service. And then have conversations with your service department and service writers about how to do a proper introduction for customers that might be eligible or might be willing to entertain that upgrade. But we have to have processes in place, and I want to show you some practical examples. Many of you, I believe, will have these in place right now, but how do I attract more service leads? What is the material resources that you provide? Do you have literature on the process and the expectations and how a customer can move from service into an upgraded position? What kind of literature resources do you provide your team in order to execute at this? What kind of signage is there at your dealership right now? If I'm at your service department, is it obvious that you're inviting me to consider an upgrade? What's the signage display look like at your dealership? This is a service board on the right-hand side that's in the customer lounge area. If I'm sitting lounging waiting for my car, is there something there telling me that you're looking for my car? Are you actively engaging me in my imagination of getting that upgraded opportunity? What else are you doing to bonus or to incentivize or to reward customers for being service customers? This here are some travel mugs. The customer, again, the dealership reallocates some of its budget and says, every customer who's a service customer of ours that is eligible for the opportunity to upgrade, we need to give them a gift. And inside that, you see that paperwork is a simple description of what they need to know if they want to consider upgrading. We give them a gift and we invite them to consider upgrading. So those, $2.50 investments, that adds up real quick because that's our highest profitability opportunity. Let's maximize and capitalize on it.
So what would you put inside those caps?
So this is basic invitational material. It can be something like how to know whether or not your vehicle is ready for an upgrade. For example, some of our customers in some of the markets I work with, they have a real high subprime market. So if you have a high subprime market, you're going to put a little literature in there. Have you considered whether or not you're eligible for a reduction in your interest rate? So we're just putting some material in there that's, again, customized to the type of market that we're working with and inviting them, by giving them a gift and then inviting them to ask some questions. It's a very non-intrusive way of doing this. And then, of course, here's Donna. And you have to have some person who is, again, specifically trained to address these questions and concerns and in a non-confrontational way invite the customer into that sales funnel. So that's how you're going to attract more service leads. And of course, like I said, there's lots of discussions we can have about this, and I'm going to open up some time for Q&A afterwards. But let's talk about the next category of repeat. How do we get more repeat customers than we're currently getting at our dealership right now? I've got a few ideas for you here. Obviously, again, the same position of the equity mining tool is going to be a fantastic thing. But what are we offering for special loyalty incentives? When a customer, for example, is a customer of yours buying a car for the second time, have you considered, and again, some stores have the ability to do negotiation, there might be some one-price stores here, but have you considered what do you do to incentivize or to reward them for simply coming back to you for the second time? So often what we'll do is we'll discount the price of a car $1,000. Why? Because the person asked for it, or beat us up, or beat the salesman's scared. Well, why not offer a customer who's a repeat customer a specific incentive or discount that's labeled on a used car? I don't have to only do this on new cars when there's a factory incentive on it. I can be the one who initiates this conversation and rewards customers for being repeat. Consider again pay plan changes to focus on repeat sales. What would it be like if my people knew intuitively that by selling repeats, I immediately would make more money? How would that change their behaviors at the dealership? It would change them dramatically. And then, of course, create unique brands and marketing campaigns. This is something I'm going to share with you. It's a personal passion of mine, and I want to get you some examples. One of the best ways to create massive amounts of repeat sales is to make sure that your people are outstanding and unforgettable. I want you to out-experience your competition. Let me say that one more time. I want you to out-experience your competition. Okay, you can out-resource them through tools and technology. You can out-inventory them. You can out-price them. You can out-process the heck out of people. But what about if we out-experienced our competition? What if our people created so much value in the conversation that the customer felt obligated to do business with them and send all their friends? What would that look like? Let me show you some examples. Here's some of my salespeople. His cars are so safe, they've been nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize. He is the most interesting salesman in the world. I'm about to share with you some brands that some of my students have developed in order to create a tremendous amount of repeat and referral business. They are outstanding salespeople. Here's a lady, her brand is Miss Monty, M-I-S-S, is making it super simple. That's part of her branding. Customers, these are the things her customers have brought her because her branding is the pink pig with the purple wings. It's just her moniker. All of her cars that she sells have a little sticker on them. You see the sticker down here. They get a little sticker, so her cars are getting branded. Branded. When that customer drives that car, there's a sticker on the inside door panel. Why does the manufacturer get to put a sticker there, but we don't get to put a sticker there? We're putting a sticker there. Every time they get in and out of that car, they're seeing a brand. The brand is Miss Monty. They know who their salesperson is, and they're going to come back and see her. Branding your vehicles by having salespeople who have a strong brand. Another student of mine, the official singing salesman out of Nashville, Tennessee. Everybody knows to come in and ask for Nate D. Allen, official singing salesman. He's got a powerful brand. People don't forget meeting him. This is how you drive repeat business. King Stinson is another sales student of mine. All of his customers take this picture with the crown. Many of them ask for one they can take home. King Stinson invests $4 per crown. His customers leave and take the crown with them. Many of them put up more pictures down the road with their crowns on. They're Instagramming them, they're Facebooking them, Pinteresting them. And this is driving massive business for King Stinson because he has an unforgettable brand, giving people the royal experience. And now because of the Marvel's movies, and some of you are fans and know that the Avengers movie is coming out here soon, but if you're a Marvel's man, you're going to love these brands here. Carman Kyle, the Toyota Man, and Adam Saviors, Saving with Saviors. These are some of my students. When you meet them, they're unforgettable. You'll never forget having met these people. And because you'll never forget them, you'll come back to them. You see, we can spend thousands of dollars on all these tools and CRMs, and that's all great, and we should send out our letters and our email campaigns. We should do that. We have to. We have a fiduciary responsibility to protect our customer base. But you know what else helps a lot is if you have outstanding people that are unforgettable, that provide massive value and out-experience their competition. That's another way to make a bunch of money. How do I attract more referral leads? You want more referrals coming into the dealership? Here's some ideas for you to consider. Train on referral techniques. Offer special referral incentives. Consider your pay plan and create unique targeted marketing campaigns. I find it fascinating when I talk to dealers who have, let's say, for example, a $50 bird dog at their store, but they'll pay an outside vendor that doesn't really love them, no names mentioned, to send in customers who don't really love you, and we'll pay them hundreds of dollars to do that, to send in the lowest value, worst possible customer who won't upsell and won't do anything else and won't let you make any money and wants to take the deal to credit union, but we'll pay an outside vendor company to send them to us. But we'll pay a $50 bird dog to our own customers to send in somebody. To me, that's madness. It just doesn't make sense. Why are we making it more difficult than it has to be? We have to consider where our time, energy, and resources are going. Let me show you some examples on referrals. Many of you have, just curious, at your store right now, do you teach people to ask for referrals, yes or no? Do you teach that at part of your process? Anybody? Yes? Okay, so at your store right now, were you saying yes? Okay, so you want the people to ask for referrals. When do you want them to ask?
On delivery.
On the delivery. And normally, what would be the question they would ask?
Something along the lines of, now that I've lost a customer, I'd like you to help me replace them. Is there anyone you know that I can offer my services to and I'd be able to help them in the future?
Yeah, I've lost a customer. I'd like your help to replace them. Do you happen to know anybody else in the market for a car that I could help the way I helped you? We have a great referral program here.
You might be in the market.
Yeah, anybody who might be in the market, something like that. Is that about right, guys? Something like that? Now, just out of curiosity, if a salesman does do that, a salesperson does that, how many names and numbers are they typically collecting on average? Please tell me. If you're currently getting any of your team to get more than 5 numbers from one customer, please show of hands if you're getting 5 numbers or more as an average. Anybody in the room? No. Anybody in the room ever seen a salesman get 5 or more? Anybody? Some of you are like, yeah, I've seen it. Okay. Rick's saying, yeah, I've seen it because you've seen me. Yeah, doesn't count, Rick. You can't be a cheater like that. So take a look at this. Here's some text that I get. Update referral from customers yesterday sold. I'm now up to 8 referrals sold this month and still have appointments. Most I've ever done referral-wise in the car business in 5 years. Once a salesperson understands how to work by referral, it transforms the way they view their customer relations. Here's another one. This is King Stinson. Remember the Royal Experience? He says, I'm at too many to count. I'll have to look. He checks back and says 7 from Facebook, 7 from referrals, and 2 repeats. Anybody good at math? How many sales is that? Is that 16 self-generated deals that you didn't have to pay for? Can I get an amen to that? Man, 16 self-generated sales? What does that do to a salesman's business? What does that do to a dealership's culture? It's transformative when we start thinking about the real market value of our customers. Here's one of my students here, 106 names and numbers from a customer. 106 from one customer at point of sale. In fact, the customer said he's an executive for Nike. The customer, an executive for Nike, says, I don't have the time to write them down. Can I just email you my contact list? That is an emailed contact list of a Nike executive in Atlanta, Georgia. Yes. Check this out. Here's 123 names and numbers that those customers provided to that salesperson at the time of purchase. 123 names and numbers. Why stop at 123? Here's 142 from an 800 Beacon. Mom in the middle co-signed for her daughter over here. After the purchase, they sat down and wrote down a combined 142 names and numbers of people that they wanted the salesman to meet. Here's 163 from 2 hospital employees who bought from Jimmy. Here's a salesman, 17 years in the business selling Mazda. Those are his 1 month, 241 names and numbers collected his first month, focused on referrals. And here's 297. The customer sat there and wrote down 297 names and numbers for the salesperson. And that's not even the record in the group. The record is 352 from one customer at point of sale, while they're at the store after they've already bought a car. What does it say about the rapport, the relationship, the trust, the advocacy of a customer who will sit down for 3 hours and give you all the names and numbers of their friends and family? What does that say about that relationship? Is that incredible or not? It's insane. How do I attract more prospecting leads? Let's take a look at this very quickly. You want your people to start prospecting? You have to start teaching them how to prospect and the value of prospecting. Take a look at this. Prospecting techniques, offer special incentives, consider a pay plan change, and create some unique targeted marketing campaigns. For example, what does that look like? Johnny's Pizza, located in the Atlanta market, that's a chain, you might have them near you. That's a pizza going out. Those pizzas are being delivered to people's houses, and in the corner of those pizza boxes is a flyer. That flyer is saying, would you like to have a year of free pizza? Go see the most interesting salesman in the world and get a year of free pizza. How are we paying for the pizza? Where's the money coming from? What do you think? Where are we getting the money from? Anybody? It's the bird dog fee. We took our bird dog fee and we said, why would I limit it to only paying a customer to send somebody to me? Why wouldn't I pay Johnny's Pizza to send me all of Johnny's Pizza's customers? This one campaign generated 9 sales for Jeremy Herring in the first month. 9 people who got a pizza came in and bought a car. Here's local campaigns with Red Lobster, Chick-fil-A. There's a couple steakhouses in there, car washes in there. Local businesses, cooperative marketing, affinity marketing. Here's a barbecue place. We got a car sitting in front of the barbecue place, and it says, want a year of free barbecue sandwiches? Why not come here and do business with Ed? That flyer goes inside every to-go bag of every customer from the barbecue place.
What's just approximately, what sort of arrangement has he got with these guys? Because he pays them on sold cars?
Yeah, it's only on sold cars. It costs nothing. Nothing I've showed you cost any money to do unless you sell a car from it. That's it. I'm not asking you to go out and spend a bunch of money. I'm saying don't spend anything, build relationships. Build relationships to see the value of your customers and of your community. These salesmen sold a car to the manager of the barbecue joint. There was already a relationship. He said, hey, I'd like to send you more people to your barbecue joint. Because the barbecue guy said, absolutely, I'd love more people. Yeah, why not? Here's Cargill, a company out in Minnesota. This is a flyer going out to Cargill. From the dealership, it's saying we want to be the official salesperson of your company. Here's an American Airlines credit union. Here's a church. Here's a hospital. Here's an apartment complex. All of these relationships were salesperson relationships to people they already had in their database. They just weren't taking care of them because they hadn't been taught to think this way. Does this work? Yes, it does. Here's an update from one of my students from last month. Last month. Facebook update. What does he say? I'm not going to read the whole thing. It gets interesting right here. One night at Ruby Tuesdays, I was dubbed the public service car salesman. This is the salesman who had the 123 names and numbers. I learned to be Googleable, build a website, learn hashtags and promotional items. During all this, there was a midday conference call with Jonathan. He says, talked about being lot free. He talked about setting up deals with apartment complexes and their tenants. I was hooked, prepared my first complex, and here's what happens next. Check this out. I went to my first complex and I asked for their business, asking if they would pass on my flyers to all the residents. And everyone that buys a car, I'll give them the property manager $200 towards a block party. And when they reached $1,000, I'd host this party with the money. They instantly bought in. That was 4 weeks ago, and here's my results. I've closed 24 apartment complexes, 3 restaurants, and 1 car wash, totaling almost 11,000 people in my pipeline. And that's all without any of the restaurants, car washes even counted yet, because there's no way to know. But for my first month doing this, I've sold, anybody can read that? 14 and a half sales, all 100% self-generated. No lot ups. And in fact, that wasn't even the end of the month yet. He ended up with 16 total for the month. 16 self-generated. And oh, by the way, this salesman's been in the business 7 months. He's only been selling cars for 7 months. 7 months. That's insane. So here's my question to you as we wrap up. Can you now answer these 3 questions? What is the real market value of a customer? There are things we have to look at other than how much did we make on that deal. We have to start thinking differently about a transaction and look at the relationship value and not just the transactional value. Who are my best and most valuable customers? And how do I attract a massive number of them? As we wrap up, I thank you so much for your incredible patience and tolerance. I'm going to open it up for some questions and make myself available for the last 8 or 10 minutes. Go ahead, please.
I just had a question about it, if you could email the PowerPoint.
It'd be my pleasure. In fact, my email address, I hope you can see it right there. It's john@Sellchology. That's Sellchology. So think psychology with the word sell. john@Sellchology.com. If you will email me and just say, DD18, I will get you the deck back.
Thanks, sir.
Absolutely. And by the way, I'll also be happy to send you any templates or examples. So let's say you wanted the apartment complex template. Then please just add that to your email and say, hey, can you send me the template, and I'll send you the actual template. Any other questions, comments, or concerns? And what was most interesting to you?
Where do you stand on going to the service customer?
Yeah.
Getting salespeople to book service appointments?
Yes, getting salespeople to set the service appointment?
Yeah, to continue that relationship and obviously leverage it to...
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, on their own customers, it's ideal. And they should be in that relationship communications with their customer anyway. But yes, if, for example, if you build this process within your store, you can have notifications, whether it's through a service tool or CRM tool, they can set up notifications, or just the service writers taking the time to Say, hey, John, you've got a customer coming in, or scheduled to come in, do you want to talk to them before they show up? Yeah, obviously I encourage all of that because I'm all about helping salespeople build massive value relationships. So yes, the more the better. Yes, please.
What is deemed as an appropriate time to talk to you about your business?
Technically, when the session ends, which is, I think my session ends in like 4 minutes. So in 4 minutes, you can ask me and I can answer about my business without violating that and getting texted out of here. So give me 4 minutes before you start texting if I...
I've got a colleague here I'd like you to meet as well. Can I get one of your cards?
It'd be my pleasure. Yeah, and I'd be happy to do that as well. Any additional questions, thoughts, comments, questions, concerns, hopes, dreams, or fears?
I thought it was excellent information there.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
It's the best one I've been to.
Best one. Wow, thank you so much. That's very honoring. Yeah, any additional questions?
I'll tell you, it's not BS. He's not.
Rick knows, so he can testify.
Can I get a business card?
Yes, my pleasure, thank you.
Joe, let me ask you this. Do you do any in-store training?
Yes, I do in-store training, yeah. Absolutely. That's how we get a lot of this stuff done, is if I'm located in Atlanta.
Appreciate it.
You built it up, there was a lot of anticipation, but you delivered.
Well, that's my goal. I want to set high standards and then clear them entirely.
Have you ever seen the keynote speaker that's speaking today?
No, I hadn't.
You love listening, you'll like him a lot.
Okay, excellent.
He's all about that experience and a rock star and differentiating yourself. And,
Excellent.
Because you're selling a premium product. So
Well, fantastic. Thank you so much.
Hey, we'll talk soon.
I hope we do.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to help.
Yep, absolutely.
Thanks, Jeremy. Means a lot.
See ya.
So what other questions can I answer for you?
I just want the deck right now.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
This is sort of a lost art,
Isn't it?
that, we spend all this money on people's
Yeah.
websites.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All this other stuff.
I know.
And you end up in the hand of a slug.
I know.
You're the anti-slug.
Well, thank you. I call myself the Excedrin of the car business. I take the headache out of buying a car. Yeah, please, thank you. Yeah, and please tell your friends. All right, excellent.
That's not me.